There we go. Okay. So with that, I want to welcome everybody. It's good to see you guys, and I'm glad everybody's interested in learning more about our member today, Embrace Your Sisters. Before I introduce the speakers, I would like to announce our March Zoom event, which is Breaking Weight Loss Myths. We felt this is a good topic during New Year's resolutions and while everybody's stuck at home during the pandemic for the time being. The presentation will be hosted by another one of our members, Mark Bruce, the founder of Fit Strength Performance at Fairport. Mark's a certified personal trainer in the industry, and he's got over a decade experience there. So if you go to our website, the registration is now active, and there is no cost to attend that. So that will be again March 10th. Also wanted to bring up to remember that we send out our monthly newsletter. So any new news that you have or would like to share goes to our distribution list, which is approximately 500. So it's also posted through our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So please keep that in mind as well. And with that being said, I want to introduce our Embrace Your Sisters presenters. Megan Freida is the store manager at Wegmans and has been in there for over 2 decades. In addition to her volunteer role with Embrace Your Sister, Megan's also a member of United Way Women's Leadership Council and the Emerging Leaders Society. Megan's mom is a 2-time breast cancer survivor, was her inspiration to get involved with Embrace Your Sisters. In 2010, Megan and her mom modeled together at the annual Embrace Your Sisters fashion show. She chose to continue her involvement because of the support Embrace Your Sisters provides, the fact that people are helped locally across 13 counties, and to be part of a staff who are all volunteers, enabling finances to be used to support breast cancer survivors. Krista Jackson has also joined us today. She served on the Embrace Your Sisters board since November of 2016. She's their second vice president. Her day job is a pharmaceutical account executive for a national account with a focus on diabetes and obesity. She too got involved with Embrace Your Sisters through the annual fashion show, when a breast cancer survivor and supporter of the organization recommended her as a model. Krista too is a breast cancer survivor. From that point, she felt her personal connection growing with Embrace Your Sisters, and when Krista was asked to serve on the board, she agreed without hesitation. So I want to thank the both of them for taking the time and being willing to speak with us today. And with that, I will turn it over to them.
Great, thank you, everyone. You can hear me, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, great. So I'm going to start and I'm going to give a little history about Embrace Your Sisters and kind of our mission. And then Chris is going to go into talking about all the amazing work she does when she actually talks to the individuals who call into Embrace Your Sisters or contact us who are looking for financial assistance. So Embrace Your Sisters was founded in 2006. And it kind of started with a group of 5 friends. One of the friends was diagnosed with breast cancer, and they started a chicken barbecue to raise money for her because she did not know how she was going to pay for some of her treatments. She was forced to pick and choose what kind of treatment plan she was going to get based on the finances that she had at the time. So in having that chicken barbecue, you know, the 5 friends kind of found out that, you know, there's more of a need, and hence that's how Embrace Your Sisters started. So we are a 501c3. And there are 5 original founding members of Embrace Your Sisters. Like James talked about, we are 100% volunteer. We currently have 9 members on our board. You know, one of the things that we're most passionate about is that we are 100% volunteer. So each one of us kind of brings a unique skill set to the team. You know, obviously Krista and I, that's a little bit of our history, but we have, you know, our president is a speech pathologist. We have about a handful of board members that are in the medical field in some sort of capacity. Our treasurer is in finance, and one of our board members is actually a recipient of funds from Embrace Your Sisters. So that's really nice because she kind of brings a different aspect to our board, being a recipient. So kind of what Embrace Your Sisters does is we fill a unique niche in the breast cancer services. So we provide short-term financial services or support to people who need it. We serve the 13 counties in the Finger Lakes. The majority of our recipients or people who reach out, a lot of them come from Monroe County and Ontario County, but we recently were able to branch out and expand our reach into 13 counties. So 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm sure pretty much all of us can tell, you know, a unique story about how breast cancer has touched us in some way, whether it's a family member, you know, you yourself, a friend, a coworker, someone, you know, and breast cancer and cancer in general affects everyone in some way, shape, or form. So Embrace Your Sisters, we try to help ease financial burden for people. So once someone gets diagnosed with breast cancer, there are people who can't pay their rent, they can't pay their mortgage, you know, they need tires for their car, they need, you know, a mastectomy bra, various types of things that, you know, they just can't afford at that time. Let's see, as far as fundraising throughout the year, many organizations and companies do a lot of fundraising for us, but as far as Embrace Your Sisters goes, we hold 2 large fundraisers every year. We have a fashion show that we do in the month of May, usually right before Mother's Day. The fashion show we have held at various locations, Ravenwood, Cobblestone Creek, the Inn on the Lake seems to be a popular spot that we like to return to, but this is our largest fundraiser that we do each year. We have various fashions from different places that, you know, give their time and their clothing, and we try to have models who are breast cancer survivors or families of breast cancer survivors, or people who are still living. And we tell a personal story about them. So they come out and they walk the runway, have a little fun, they listen to music, and we tell a personal story about that person, because that really makes the event, and that's why a lot of people come, is those personal stories, and they understand, you know, a little bit more about the people that we're featuring. Our second event that we have each year is we do a walk in Pittsford. It's our Positively Pink in Pittsford walk. This past year would have been our 10th annual walk and our 14th annual fashion show. Obviously with COVID, we weren't able to have our events, but we hold the event in Pittsford. It's usually at the end of September, and we do a walk through Pittsford and then down along the Erie Canal. We start at Pittsford Sutherland and then we end right there in Pittsford. Many sports teams come and they participate in our event. We have a lot of, you know, soccer teams, cheerleading teams, and various organizations come as well. So unfortunately, you know, obviously those events we couldn't do throughout the year, this past year, and, you know, moving into this year, we're going to, you know, look at other ways to hopefully have some fundraising events, whether it's online or, you know, look towards the fall and see if there's something that we're able to do. Some other events, just to reference that other companies or organizations do for us, you know, the Hobart and William Smith team, they hold a polar plunge in years past. A lot of schools will do denim days for us. We used to have a Zumbathon. The Canandaigua soccer team does Pink Out many times for us to help raise funds, and tons of other places, help to raise funds for Embrace Your Sisters. So in 2020, Embrace Your Sisters was able to help 17 individuals, totaling about $24,000. And since we started in 2006, we've given out close to $500,000 to recipients. So in 2020, and Krista will talk to this a little bit, but applications are down for various reasons. Some people are just not seeking out medical attention for whatever reason. Sometimes we find that people are not getting connected with a social worker, therefore they're not finding Embrace Your Sisters. And that's just something that we're always working on, is how do we get the word out? How do we share what we do so we can in turn get more recipients to take advantage of the services that we offer at Embrace Your Sisters? I have a couple of quotes that I'd love to share from some recipients that have benefited from Embrace Your Sisters, and then Krista will go into a little bit about the work that she does when she speaks with people who are seeking funds from Embrace Your Sisters. So just a couple quotes. Thank you from my heart for all the kindness you have shown me. I lost my hearing due to chemotherapy. A hearing aid was imperative to my quality of life. Thank you for your generosity. And thank you for your wonderful generosity and financial assistance. You truly saved us this month. We cannot thank you enough. May your generosity, kindness, and support be returned to you many times. So, the first one was someone who had lost their hearing while they were going through chemotherapy and they couldn't afford to get a hearing aid. So Embrace Your Sisters was able to give them funds to purchase a hearing aid. And I'll pass it over to Krista for her to talk about the amazing work that she does for us at Embrace Your Sisters.
Thank you, Megan. Hello, everyone. So I'm the face of Embrace Your Sisters. Well, I shouldn't say the face, but the voice you hear on the phone if you call us at 585-624-9690. And I work with the applicants. I also work with the social workers who send in the applications, and I coordinate the applications to take forth to our committee that reviews the applications and then makes a decision. About, 6 months after I joined the board, the person that had done this since the inception of Embrace Your Sisters, so well over 10 years, had sort of voiced that she would be interested in stepping aside and letting somebody else take the reins. And so that is when I enthusiastically again raised my hand and said, I think I can do that. So I kind of fell into the position of being the person that works with the applicants. And it is really, it's heartwarming, it's challenging, and it's just makes you realize how grateful you can be, especially when you help someone who's in a really difficult situation because of a breast cancer diagnosis. So who do we help? Who does Embrace Your Sisters help? Generally, anyone who is financially struggling during breast cancer treatment. And we consider treatment active treatment medication. So somebody could have been diagnosed with breast cancer, may have already had surgery, completed chemotherapy or radiation, and then is just taking medication for their breast cancer. We consider that active treatment. And you do need to be in active treatment in order to apply to Embrace Your Sisters. Megan touched on it a little bit, but what are some of the things that we do help with when people come to us for help? So in general, the common things that we get are rent and mortgages, utilities, car payments, car insurance, outstanding medical bills. And the way that our organization works is that we do not pay the applicant directly. We pay the entities that need to be paid on behalf of the applicant. So no money goes directly to the applicant, it goes to the people that need to be paid for the applicant. A couple unique things that have come our way. And again, if anybody's applying to Embrace Your Sisters, you should just always ask if we can consider something. We did have someone who had developed metastatic breast cancer. It was in their bones. They were then wheelchair bound and they needed to put a ramp to their house so they could get in and out of their house. And that was something that was kind of new to us. But what we did is it ended up working itself out. But what we did is we asked for a quote from the construction company that was going to do it, so that we knew how much money we were going to be into and we could make a decision. And then we would pay the construction company directly on the applicant's behalf. Lymphedema sleeves, car repairs have been a big one. A lot of times people, when they get a breast cancer diagnosis, they may already be living a little bit on the edge, paycheck to paycheck, and then they're putting all these miles on their car because they now have to go to appointments, and therefore something happens with the car and the car needs to be repaired. Well, obviously you need a car and transportation in order to get to your treatments. So car repairs have been another thing that we have certainly assisted with. We don't consider outstanding credit card bills. So a lot of times people are coming to us in credit card debt, and that's part of their financial picture, but we don't pay outstanding credit card bills. And often people need just cash for gas or food, or childcare is another big one. So again, because we don't pay the applicants directly, what we try to do is look at their other monthly bills that they may be able to pay along the way. But if we can alleviate that burden of, let's say, a rent for a couple months, then that frees up that patient's cash flow, applicant's cash flow, excuse me, that they can use that extra cash to put the food on the table, to buy a tank of gas, etc. And then, like I said, don't be afraid to ask. If you come across anybody that would benefit from what we provided, Embrace Your Sisters, please just always ask about a bill. I actually had someone go as far one time to ask if we helped with paying for a funeral, because again, they were at the end of their disease, and they knew that the time was coming that they would need to prepare for a funeral. They were struggling with their family, and they had wanted help with preparing for a funeral. So again, I just share that story with you because you should always ask. So how do you get the help? Like I said, you can call the number 585-624-9690, and I'm the person that you speak with. You can also go to our website, which is embraceyoursisters, all one word, .org. And when you go to our page, there's a section for Go Assistance. And if you click on that link and then scroll down, you will see financial support. And when you get on that landing page, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see download application, and you can download our application there. There are 4 pages to the application, one of which is a checklist. The other 2 just kind of help us build the financial story, what your financial picture looks like. And the last page is actually a provider form that needs to be filled out by a doctor to indicate to our committee what the treatment plan is and that the patient is in fact still in treatment. We get some of our referrals word of mouth, which is great, but we also know that we can reach a broader audience. We have a really nice pipeline that comes in from 2 of the big oncology centers that treat breast cancer patients, Livingston and Pluta. So the social workers there do a tremendous job of having conversations with people that they know might be in a pinch and can benefit from Embrace Your Sisters and helping getting the applicants our way. And then also, if somebody is just doing their own little Google and they go to the American Cancer Society, that will also point you towards Embrace Your Sisters. And so again, if you can't get the application from the webpage, then certainly you can give me a call, and I'm happy to mail an application out to you via the snail mail, which is no pun intended, right? Because it really is a snail mail nowadays. Once you fill out the application and it's submitted back to Embrace Your Sisters, I coordinate again the application and make sure all the paperwork is complete, and then take it forth to the committee. So we are based on financial guidelines. That's what we use as a structure to make our decision. And we do ask for a lot of information. So just to give you a little bit of a taste of that, we need to build your financial picture as an applicant. So we do ask for tax returns, pay stubs, checking and savings account information. Again, just to get an idea of what your financial picture looks like. And a lot of times it's situations where, and I'm finding this now that we're into a full year of COVID, where last year, people were fine, and now that they are either still out of a job or somebody has lost a job, the financial picture has changed and now they need some help. So we're getting a lot of calls around that now, where I think people have realized, okay, COVID set in, it has been here for a year. I am still getting my treatment, but now my spouse lost a job, right? And your finances are impacted. As Megan mentioned, where do we help? We do have 13 counties in the Finger Lakes area. We did just recently review our bylaws and we added a few counties. So some of the southern tier area with Schuyler, Seneca, Steuben, Tioga, Tompkins, Chemung, those were a couple places that we were getting people calling and asking if we could assist them, and we found out that we couldn't. So we did do a review of our bylaws in order to kind of open up the service area that we touch. Although by far, as Megan mentioned, Monroe and Ontario counties are probably our biggest pool of applicants that we receive. And so when are we helping? Let me walk you through a little bit about what that looks like. So we grant assistance one time of year. You can apply to Embrace Your Sisters yearly. If we grant you assistance, the first 3 times that you apply to us, or the first 3 years, we will consider any bill. After you come to us for a 4th time and beyond, then we only consider medical bills at that point. And it is not a calendar year. So what has just recently happened, it happens every year. We get applicants that apply to us in November or December, and we are able to offer them support. They can apply to Embrace Your Sisters starting as soon as January of that next year. So it's not a full calendar year. Just keep in mind that if we help you in January of the following year, that would be the one-time assistance that we would be able to grant you for that year. But that has happened a lot. It just happened recently with an applicant who was in a financial bind. We helped this person in October and now has just come back to us and said they are still in the same financial bind and has applied to us again. So not a full calendar year. And I just wanted to walk you through a couple of situations of people that have applied to us, and it's all sorts of people. It is, and I don't think that you have a true appreciation for it until you're actually speaking to some of these people and understanding what their story is and how a breast cancer diagnosis and going through that treatment has affected their livelihood. And it's a lot of young mothers that are coming through that have young children who may have been stay-at-home moms and now are going through treatment and need some extra support because there's all this expense associated with their treatment. It's a lot of retired applicants, people who have worked hard their entire life, have had a savings, are now on Social Security, have insurance, but now have been, given a breast cancer diagnosis, and the bills start to add up with the copays and the deductibles and all of that sort of thing. And all of a sudden they can pay their daily bills, their monthly bills just fine. But now when they get a major medical diagnosis, it becomes a financial strain for them. It is applicants who have been working right along and then just get to the point where they're on their 6th round of chemo or 6th round of radiation, and they have to stop out of work and they don't have disability or they can't get unemployment. A lot of that happens. And it's women whose husbands have left them because they've gotten a breast cancer diagnosis. And I hate to even say that happens, but it happens. And so, all of a sudden you're a female that receives this diagnosis and your spouse, decides that they can't tackle that one with you, and then you're on your own. So those are just a few of the examples of people that have come through and have looked for assistance from Embrace Your Sisters. And I can't tell you how many times I have received a call or been in touch with an applicant who has told me that they were just too embarrassed to ask for help. And I just politely remind them is that this is why Embrace Your Sisters was formed, because Chris Ann had insurance, but when was trying to pick her treatment, was picking it a la carte, as Megan indicated, and had insurance and just couldn't pay the financial side of it. And we don't want to see anybody go through that. And that's why Embrace Your Sisters was formed. So by all means, please, if there's anyone that you know that could benefit from what we offer, put them in touch with us on social media. We have this great marketing group called Edge Advertising Group that does a lot of our social media, maintains our social media for us. So please find us on social media, give me a call, go to our website and download an application and do anything that you can to spread the word. We would be most appreciative. And Jim, that's all I got to say, I think.
Well, great. Thank you. That was very good information. Megan, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I don't think so. I mean, Krista touched on so many great things. You know, we do have membership for Embrace Your Sisters. Every year we do a membership campaign. We're always looking for volunteers. So when we do have the opportunity to start our events back up, we do look, you know, because we're 100% volunteer, we look for volunteers within our communities to work at our events, whether it's, you know, the fashion show, the walk, just to be a part of what we're trying to accomplish. And, you know, if you don't follow us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, you know, please make sure you follow us. And thank you so much for allowing us to be here. You know, any word that we can get out, it is appreciative, and it's nice to connect with people outside of Embrace Your Sisters and see people's faces. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, great. Thank you both. Did anybody have any questions for Megan or Krista?
Can you tell us where you would go to donate or to show your support for EYS? I'm not sure if you mentioned that.
I don't think that, well, that's why we have you, Danielle. So you can donate, Megan, you can, go ahead, Megan, because you can hit this one.
That's so you can go right on our website and you can make a donation through PayPal on our website. We have our mailing address right on our website as well, and you can mail a donation there. And that's, you know, online or in mail is obviously the best two ways to mail a donation.
Do you want to mention the United Way, Megan?
Oh, yes. We are a donor designation. We have a number for United Way as different campaigns are starting to roll around at companies. A lot of companies will, you can designate your United Way contribution weekly out of your paycheck. So we do have a donor designation number, which I think is escaping me, but it's right at the top of our webpage. I think it's 2573, but don't quote me on that. But yes, that is another way that you can designate as well. Any other questions?
I have a question, and then I have a point I want to add. Just this week, I got confirmation from one of our members, Kevin Kuhlman from McConville, Constein, Kuhlman, and Marin, and he confirmed that the CARES Act also includes 2021 donations to nonprofits. So an individual taxpayer, yes, I agree, Krista. So an individual taxpayer can have a deduction up to $300, and a couple filing jointly up to $600. And that is over and above the standard deduction. So that's great. That's continuing on to this year as well. So it's nice for nonprofits such as yourself. My question is, it sounds like as you take a look at the financial need, that you don't necessarily have income caps working under?
We don't disclose the financial guidelines that we use, Diane, but we do have an income cap based on number of people in the household, which we do ask for that also on the application. That's a good question.
And one thing, just from talking with you before, you encourage anyone to call you because you have referred people elsewhere when you haven't been able to help them, correct?
Correct. Good point, Diane. So I just had a conversation with someone about a month ago who found us on her own. And when I spoke to this applicant, it was a person that had lung cancer and not breast cancer. And the person was extremely frustrated that she could not find anybody to help her. She was really in some dire straits from what she had conveyed to me. And as luck would have it, it was a very emotional conversation, but I was very insistent that I was not going to let her hang up with me until I could point her in some other direction. And so I had some other groups that we had working knowledge of, that might be able to assist this person. And I definitely just referred her to those other groups so that she could reach out and try to find something else. We really try hard to not, associate ourselves with one particular group. But a lot of times, I'll tell you, people even come to Embrace Your Sisters and they don't even know that the Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester exists. So a lot of times in just talking with people, you find out that they may have done a very, very initial search and don't know much about what's available in the community. And just because I'm working with a lot of people, I can generally help point them in a direction.
For that number, I looked on your website, number 2573.
Oh, perfect.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's United Way number 2573. Could one of you talk a little bit about the Amazon Smile? There may be some people that aren't familiar with that as a way to donate.
Oh gosh, yes. So if you are a frequent shopper on Amazon, you can go to Amazon Smile and you can pick different organizations or an organization to donate a percentage of what you spend there. So Embrace Your Sisters is one of the listed recipients, but you just have to make sure you don't go to your normal Amazon account. You have to go through the Amazon Smile account, and that way part of a percentage of your spend will go back towards Embrace Your Sisters. Awesome.
Well, great information. Any other questions? Also wanted to check whether I know with our registration, did we have any other of your board members joining us today? I don't know if there are any on, if so.
Linda was the only
Linda.
one, I believe. Yep. Linda's our treasurer.
Okay. Well,
The one who was trying to get the mute on her phone. So now that she's on mute, she probably cannot get off.
Cut off. Linda, do you want to add anything?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Did I want to add? No, I think you two did a great job. And I'm here working, so my phone might be ringing or such. The Amazon Smile, it's interesting that I just get checks or deposits automatically. And I just got one for like $48. So it's, it adds up. Every little bit does add up for people. The other thing is through Facebook. There's so many people that are doing Facebook fundraisers for us. I get a check from an organization, and unfortunately, there's no indication as to who any of the donors are. So all I can do is happily deposit the check. But so people are doing Facebook fundraisers for us, maybe for their birthdays, or I'm not that familiar with how they do that. Maybe some of you younger people know, but so that is another way that people can donate too, is through Facebook fundraisers.
Great.
Danielle, have you run into Facebook donations like that other than, GoFundMe kind of pages? Have you run into that through Facebook?
People can individually for, their birthdays or whatnot, like Linda was saying, have a cause that they're raising funds for, correct? Yes.
So when I get this check from Network Solutions and I don't even know who it's from or who held, it's wonderful to get the money, but it's so disappointing not to be able to personally thank those who did. And I would hope the people who are donating don't think that we're ignoring them. We just don't know who they are.
Right.
But we certainly could do a post, thanking whoever donated through that particular way and make mention of that. And also guide future people to that as an option when they celebrate their various anniversaries and birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Does anybody else in attendance have ideas that they might have individually supported nonprofits, something that has worked well as far as fundraising?
Well, I think there's a lot of good options through the social media and Amazon Smiles as well. So, a lot of people seem to do donations that I've seen right through social media. So, anybody else have any suggestions, any comments, any questions? Well, if not, I want to, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, I want to thank Megan and Krista for taking the time to present to us today, and thank all of the board members for the contributions, to the community as you support the breast cancer survivors. So thank you all again. Please remember our March Zoom meeting and our newsletter to share any information, any new news that you have. Was that a question? Was that a last minute question from somebody?
I think she's on the phone.
Yeah.
Somebody else on the phone.
Ramona had to answer the phone. And she's not on mute.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear
I'm
you.
sorry.
There we go.
You want to say
All right.
something, Ramona?
Hi,
Hi.
I gotta run. I've got somebody here for me. Sorry. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you. Thanks everybody for joining today, and look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing everybody soon.
Great.
Great. Thank you. Bye.
All right.